Hello everybody, welcome back. It's for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, a free way to support the channel is by leaving a thumbs up, by leaving a comment, by leaving 2 comments, by leaving 15 comments, however many comments you want to leave over the course of your life, and by subscribing if you have not already done so, as it does indeed help with the algorithms. Also, please watch out for anyone pretending to be me in the comment section. It is becoming quite annoying. I don't know who these people are, but it's 20 of them every single day. I'm sure you've seen them. Give them a little okay. If you have any frustrations, let it out on them. That's the nicest way that I can say that. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Get ready for a very weird video because it's kind of all over the place. As you may know, the cryptocurrency space is, if anything, it is never ever boring. The last 12 hours, for some reason, have just been like a bit of a mess, and I'm not really exactly sure why. For those of you who are unaware, at least at the time of me making this video, the cryptocurrency market is down, and I've been looking for, the last hour, as to like an exact reason as to why this could have potentially taken place. So for those of you not looking at the screen, it says Ethereum breaks key support, why ETH could decline further. This one says Ethereum price analysis. ETH could nosedive to $1,500. A lot of the news, and I'm not exactly sure why, was nearly exclusively focused around the price of Ethereum falling in price. We usually, of course, get Bitcoin's falling, Bitcoin is tumbled kind of thing, but this is all, Bitcoin has fallen. However, a large part of it is just focusing around the price of Ethereum. I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's just the news people who were writing Bitcoin and Ethereum settle below major supports, XRP consolidates. There was no actual real news as to why the cryptocurrency market has fallen. And I mean none. I will show you what I found, and I guess you can derive yourself if you believe that this could actually be the reasons. Not much negative news floating around at all. And I scoured the internet trying to find an actual reason for the decline in prices. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says U.S. authorities indict a Canadian telecom provider in a crypto money laundering case with encrypted phones. So one, the news is that U.S. authorities got someone else in trouble because they said that they were sending money through phones that were encrypted and therefore criminal in some sort of way. This was also very popular news. It's not that I'm not sure why. It's more like why make this news at all? If you will, like, what does this really have to do with the cryptocurrency market except for, I guess, like, stir the pot or inject fear in some sort of way into our markets? Here's the other negative thing that was floating around. It says John McAfee's bodyguard pleads not guilty to role in crypto scams worth $13 million. Right. See, also doesn't feel like that's one of the reasons why the cryptocurrency market would have fallen. But over the news from the last 10 hours or so, that was as negative as it really got. And I mean, actually, it was either those 2 news stories multiple times, or it was about that the prices have dropped. Right. It says Bitcoin falls to 53,000 as Wall Street gains hurt appeal. What's next? I guess the other thing could be is that stocks are rising higher. And it says maybe that's hurting the appeal of Bitcoin, but I don't think so, because where is it? Okay, it's somewhere up there in one of the tabs. A lot of weird stuff has been happening around the world. I'm not sure if, or rather I am partially sure that, remember we got news before that a lot of the money that was given out as stimulus checks would either be flowing into Bitcoin or into stocks. A lot of the money that was also printed for the stimulus was given directly, and it was injected directly into securities and bonds to make them seem more attractive, so that it seems as if the stock market is rising and should not be a pile of ash at this point. But that also doesn't seem like an accurate reason as to why Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin fell by around 6 or 7 or 8%. It has since recovered a tiny bit, if you will, but it had a strong enough tumble that you would only expect if some major country had announced a ban or if something terrible had actually happened to the network, but it didn't. So that also is it as well. I don't think that it says it right here. It says Bitcoin fell towards $53,000 on Tuesday as U.S. stocks rallied, breaking away from its tradition of tailing riskier assets, even as bond yields and the U.S. dollar dipped. I'm going to use the M word, and I don't know if it's a strong M word, but I think it's a light M word. Our market's being manipulated in some sort of way. The traditional way that Bitcoin gains in value is through, of course, supply and demand, but it also has to do with, dare I say, catastrophic world events that take place that causes Bitcoin's like actual value to rise. Not the actual, dollar amount, but the need for Bitcoin at that point tends to rise when these things really take place. And a lot of things have been happening around the world, which, and I'm going to get to a really weird story as well, which might even blow your mind as far as to what's been really taking place. So I don't think stocks rising would have caused Bitcoin to lose its appeal because we still know that it's being accumulated. How do I say this? Just based off of pure math, we know that Bitcoin is constantly being purchased. I saw news yesterday that there was an assumption that I think a lot of retail investors, like brand new retail, so like brand new normal people who got into the market, had become fatigued with Bitcoin because prices weren't rising as high as they had assumed that they would, i.e., new people got into our market because they were like, okay, this is a quick, easy way money to make cash. And when we have these fluctuations in our market, which were completely normal because that's just how the cryptocurrency market works, that it was a bit too much for them and they decided to pull their money out or were pulling their money out and selling off their Bitcoin to be able to buy into other assets that they may, feel that as if they could rise quicker in value than Bitcoin currently was. That seems like a good enough reason, but I don't think it warrants a 7% drop. Once again, it says Bitcoin whales keep accumulating Bitcoin as its price consolidates. This is also very big news as well. Bitcoin uptrend not over. Bitcoin whales aren't selling Bitcoin, data shows. I don't think anyone who actually understands what's economically and globally taking place right now is willing to sell any of their Bitcoin into anything else. I think it probably, and it's really sad once again, because I mentioned this before, the people who need to be into Bitcoin, not financial advice, are the people who aren't millionaires and aren't billionaires, because it's clear that the world is shifting to a rapidly, heavily digital economy. It looks like Bitcoin could be at the forefront of that. But we keep seeing time and time again that people, or at least according to the metrics that we've gotten before in the past, that everyday average people who get into the Bitcoin market, at some point it's a couple of things. Either they get fatigued with the market, they're tired of it, they want to buy into some other asset, they think Bitcoin's moving too slow, or they start buying into other altcoins, or they get this crypto vanity kind of thing, which became a big thing in 2016, 2017. Crypto vanity basically being you can't brag to other people. Like, you can't brag and say, oh yeah, I have Bitcoin. Well, how much Bitcoin do you have? I have 0.012453. It doesn't sound as exciting as saying I have 45 Litecoin or 19,000 XRP. So that's also a thing. And it sounds silly to even say it out loud, but I'm pretty sure that's a huge reason why people do sell off their Bitcoin, because it's kind of like, I have enough money to buy a car. Are you buying a Tesla? No, I'm going to buy, 2001 Hyundai Miata or something like that, or a Mazda or whatever these things are called. It doesn't have the same appeal, and people care so much about what other people think about them. So, whales are clearly still accumulating, because we've gone over this every single day for I don't know how long. I'm a little tired of saying it. We know that because we have information from these companies that they are buying up all new mined Bitcoin daily. It's not a guess. It's not a wish. It's not saying, oh, I hope rich people are buying. We know that they're buying. We know that all the banks are into it and all the institutions are into it. So someone sold off their coins, and it wasn't the big players. On top of that, in extremely popular, why is this so big news? Jordan Belfort, the self-proclaimed Wolf of Wall Street, has moved away from his bearish views on Bitcoin and now predicts the crypto asset might reach 100,000 US dollars. Belfort, who has reinvented himself, as a motivational, I'm pretty sure that's all he's legally able to do now, as a motivational speaker and consultant, says Bitcoin, unlike company stocks, is more about pure supply and demand. He adds that the crypto asset is free from the distortion of effectively printing more of your own corporate currency. This was very popular news. It was all over the place that the Wolf of Wall Street has turned his eyes to Bitcoin and is expecting it to do amazingly huge, big, gigantic things. I don't know if you've seen the movie, but allegedly, I've heard from articles and other documentaries that it was extremely accurate as to who he is as a person. I'm not talking about his character, whatever, yada, yada, but it's more like it's about deceiving people or telling people that they should be doing X, Y, and Z or should be so and so and so. So a lot of times we get people who have completely, can't say that on here, who've completely spit is a nice word. It sounds like something else I was going to say. The cryptocurrency market before, they've had an about face and now they're like, now you should get into it. And what did I say before a couple of years ago? We're going to start hearing from all the big wigs, from all the really big players in other markets who are accumulating Bitcoin. Assumption. And it's going to get to a certain point when they have enough. That's when they'll tell you, hey, this is great. This is amazing. Look how high the price is going to go. But they make sure to tell you years ago how absolutely terrible that it is. This is from the 27th of September, 2017. Wolf of Wall Street calls Bitcoin a fraud. No surprise. What was happening at that time? Every other bank, every other institution was saying the exact same thing. And then we found out last year and in 2019 that they were all of them, every single one, not some of them, were buying since 2014 and 2017. How weird it is to have a time machine called the internet to look at it. Bitcoin investors will get slaughtered. This was said by Belfort, 28th of August, 2018. I wonder what changed. I wonder what exactly happened in time that made him turn around and believe, wow, Bitcoin is actually for the people. Bitcoin's going to be really good. Could it have been that him and every other bank and institution and hedge fund have been accumulating for so long now that they have enough Bitcoin that they stand to become hyper billionaires, as opposed to just a normal billionaire, because of Bitcoin's price increase? Maybe. We can't say for sure. But this is very big news. I think a lot of times we hear, it's the same exact thing with McAfee. Many years ago, in 2017, when McAfee got into the cryptocurrency space, any coin that he spoke about became instant gold and the price would start to pump. But then at some point, he also got into Bitcoin as well. And I was like, you have to look further. Like, it's cool that these new people, with influence are getting into the cryptocurrency space, but you also have to look at who they actually are as people. Once again, I don't know the guy. I'm going off of the movie and what I've heard and read and seen in documentaries. But it's like, that's not a particular role model to make you want to get into the cryptocurrency market. Oh my gosh, he did terrible stuff to people. Did you see what he did to his girlfriend? I think I'm going to buy some Bitcoin. It's like a very weird thing. And anyway, so that's the Wolf of Wall Street news. Incredibly popular news right now floating around that this guy is getting into the market. Same exact thing with that guy, Portnoy. I was like, why should we care that Portnoy is getting into it? And then he had an interview with the Winklevoss twins. He bought tons, I think, was it $200,000 worth of Bitcoin? The price of Bitcoin dropped. He called the market garbage. He called it trash. He said it was terrible. No one should be into Bitcoin. He was never going to buy Bitcoin again. And that influences people. That tells other people who watch him, the hundreds of thousands of millions of people who watch him, oh my gosh, dude, yeah, crypto's so fake. Like, I'm not getting into that thing. And then the price of Bitcoin rises. And what did he say like 4 days ago? Oh, he smacked himself on the head and said, oh, I was wrong about Bitcoin. We also just stopped all those other people from being able to get into Bitcoin when it was $15,000. Anyway, that's the Wolf of Wall Street news, if you will. And let's move on. Also, in this probably should have actually caused Bitcoin's price to rise. This is why I said earlier, like there are certain events that are happening right now on the planet that makes Bitcoin well positioned to be above 100K. The idea that Bitcoin is falling in any type of way is really confusing to me. And I said this in 2019 and last year as well. Remember when Bitcoin was like 12,000, 13,000 and it fell down to $3,000 because the stock market fell, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. It made no actual sense. Like, I understand people selling out of fear, but there's no, if we see the old world collapsing and we know that we have an answer for it, Bitcoin has no reason to fall. It says Bitcoin has been recognized as a hedge against global events in 19. As global economies are still recovering from the massive halt of 19, Turkey is still seeing its people. So we had some news about this yesterday, that there was a huge spike in the amount of people who were actually Googling the word Bitcoin. For those of you who don't know, people actually use it's not Google Analytics. Google, like, I can't remember what it's called. Basically, people look at the amount of times that someone or people have searched for a certain word or a certain tag to see the popularity of it. And we saw that yesterday. I guess I'll show you right here. Bitcoin soared in Turkey's markets as the value of the lira collapsed 17% within a day. The fall in the fiat's value is the worst drop witnessed in almost 20 years. As the value of the lira dropped, the users went to prominent search engine Google to find the word Bitcoin, assuming that they were looking to actually buy Bitcoin. Data from Google Trends, that's what it's called, indicated that the search for Bitcoin in the country noted a massive uptick of 566% in a day, which means that people there were logically looking for it and trying to buy it. I'm pretty sure they weren't looking at the screen going, oh, that sounds nice. I wish I could get me some of that. Now, they were looking for a way to actually purchase it. This is what we were talking about yesterday as well, but I didn't have the complete story. The falling of their currency followed the decision by their president to remove the head of the country's central bank. The country hiked interest rates last week, but the fiat reversed its journey in the market and lost all gains in the first quarter. The value of the lira fell by 14% in a flash dip after the announcement made by the president. So here's the interesting part. The dip experienced by the fiat. Who wrote this? It sounds so stupid. The dip experienced by the fiat. The dip experience with their currency pushed more people towards Bitcoin. The push was visible in peer-to-peer markets as the value of Bitcoin surged in the country to $100,000 per Bitcoin. This is not the first time that this has happened. If you've been here for the last 4 to 5 years, you remember. It's a thrice in a year event. It doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen every week. It happens usually as it's getting warmer in the summertime and as it's, finally winter once again. There's always a country somewhere that's collapsing. Their currency is falling apart, and people in that country or some other place look for a way to try and get into Bitcoin. What ends up happening is, if Bitcoin for us is around $8,000, that country will have Bitcoin's prices around like $16,000. It happens every single time. There's always one country. What was the other one? Was it Nigeria or Kenya? I don't remember. I'm sorry. That we were talking about a month ago, where they also had a gigantic Bitcoin premium. I took a screenshot of it. I put it onto Twitter as well, and I even made a video about it as well, so you could all see that the actual thing actually took place. What happens is that the demand increases so much within that country that the price of it actually ends up exploding to new all-found heights. Data suggested that the minimum asking price for Bitcoin was 509,000 Turkish Lira, which was 64,000. That was the minimum asking price, whereas some offline exchanges had pegged the price as high as $100,000 in Lira for a single Bitcoin. Here's the actual chart for it right here for the things that were actually going on, and it's even bigger right here if you couldn't see the other one. This happens all the time, and I find the timing of a lot of things very weird in this dip. There was no CME news. There was no US dollar Bitcoin futures news. A lot of the news, there's also more, believe me, there's a lot happening. A lot of the news circled around the fact that the Turkish Lira was collapsing and that tons of people were buying into Bitcoin. And usually when we get news like that, Bitcoin's price tends to rise. There's also some news from the Fed and some other stuff in this video as well, because once again, a lot of stuff. And this once again, it is not even all the news. A lot took place in such a short period of time, and I can't really figure out why Bitcoin's price would have fallen at all. So the news is in Turkey, people were offering, selling, buying, I don't know, Bitcoin, and it rose to $100,000 in their market, which logically happens and should have happened all around the world. But alas, here we are. What is this one? Also very popular in the news as well. After dismissing Bitcoin's chances of becoming or challenging the US dollar as a medium of exchange, the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, said that the cryptocurrency could be a substitute for gold. He also doubled down on the Fed's previous stance of potentially launching its own central bank digital currency by saying that there's no need to rush it or be the first on the market. During an online conference held by the Bank of International Settlements, they are often referred to as the central bank's central bank, Powell reiterated his previous stance that Bitcoin fails to serve as a store of value and medium of exchange due to its enhanced volatility. As such, he believes that all cryptocurrency assets remain a speculative form of investment that won't replace the dollar, but has the chance to do so with gold. He said they are highly volatile and therefore not really useful stores of value, and they are not backed by anything. It's more a speculative asset than that's essentially a substitute for gold rather than that of the dollar. Trying to back it up just a little bit. I keep seeing a lot of people every single day. I'm not sure if you're fans or if you're just bored. I'm not really sure what you're doing here. But I'm not the only cryptocurrency channel that this is happening to. I get a lot of comments every single day from people. It used to just be people who like heavily believed in XRP or heavily believed in Ethereum, who used to tell me I was an idiot for talking about Bitcoin. But I'm getting a lot of people now who are just mentioning in the comment section, hey, all of you are idiots. You should just be buying gold and silver. Bitcoin is garbage. Bitcoin's going down to zero. Ha ha ha. None of you have gold. And I'm seeing it all the time. Once again, I know you're probably bored at home, but please don't go to another channel because it's just annoying to see that every single day. People keep asking what gives Bitcoin its value. And I told someone yesterday in the comment section as nicely as I possibly could, what gives the dollar its value? Why does gold have value? It's a belief system. It's all about belief. None of these things actually have value. I'm not sure if you realized that before. Your computer that you bought for $4,000 isn't actually worth $4,000. Someone made you believe that you should pay that much because of how much gig and how much RAM and how much, how big the screen is, and that's why you purchased it. Homes are not actually worth anything. We believe collectively that things are worth something, and that's what gives them their value. The US dollar most certainly is not backed by anything, but even then, if it was backed by gold, it's backed by the 5,000-year belief that this shiny metal is beautiful, and therefore they're holding a lot of it, they're holding a lot of it, they're holding a lot of it. I should also be holding some of it as well because that's what gives it its value. None of these things, even Bitcoin, nothing actually has value. If you think from a logical standpoint, none of this has any value. However, as a society, we have to deal with money. We live in a capitalist system that deals with money moving back and forth, and we buy and we consume and we throw things out and we et cetera, et cetera. That's exactly how our world is working at the moment. So we know that one form of money that we've been told to use, that's the US dollar. Like a US dollar isn't worth one simply because you're holding a piece of paper that has ink on it that says the number one. That's not actual worth of anything. We know that based on the system that we are currently living in, one form of currency that we've been told to use has completely fallen apart. It's now garbage. The value of it continues to decline the same exact way that we heard about the Turkish Lira also declining. So we have now found another way that allows us to transfer value back and forth in a system that works 24 hours a day. It doesn't close on the weekends, and it's available to 7.4 billion people on the planet, as long as they have the internet. And even then, if you have a radio signal, there are people who have made it so that you can send Bitcoin back and forth through radio. Not even a joke. You can look it up as well. So we have collectively decided, the 100 million people who are currently into Bitcoin, this looks like a better way to use money than the old system. I'm tired of having my money being depreciated. Let's buy something that will be deflationary in nature as time ends up going on. And it's another discussion because people like to fight with me in the comment section that Bitcoin's not deflationary. I don't care. I do not care what you have to think about all these things. I'm tired of the little comments that people keep sending. If you don't believe in Bitcoin, go away. The patience has run thin, extremely, extremely thin. Extremely thin. If you don't like Bitcoin, go buy silver. Find a silver channel and go buy your silver. If you don't like cryptocurrencies, what's the point? You are wasting your time. Hello to the usually 14 people. It's always 14 people who give my video a downvote. And it's usually, you can't see the metrics because you're not on my YouTube channel thing. The craziest part is that I can see the metrics quite easily because it's my YouTube channel. Within the first 5 minutes of every single video, I get about 4 or 5 downvotes, which means that you took time out of your day to make sure that you were one of the first people, you're a fan, to watch my video and give it a downvote. You probably left after, but think about how much influence that has on your life that you took time out of your day to give me a thumbs down. Go do something else. I understand that we're all at home and we're probably really bored. Find a book. Go watch Harry Potter. Like find some new magical land to go live in that makes you happy. So the news was quite popular everywhere, is that the Fed said cryptocurrencies are not a really useful store of value. We know that. We got that a while ago. We've been getting that since around 2015, 2016. If you haven't been here for that long, well, I'm here to fill you in. We have heard this consistently over and over that Bitcoin is volatile. Got it. We all knew that. If you've been looking at crypto since 2017, you know that Bitcoin went from 900 to 20,000, back to 3,000, back up to 15,000, back up to 3,000, back up to 50-something thousand, back to where it currently is right now. We know that it's volatile. We got that point. And we know that it's not currently a store of value because it's going to take a couple of years for us to actually get to over $1 million per Bitcoin. And at that point, the volatility will have decreased. We got that. Cool. So this might have been one of the other reasons why Bitcoin dropped in price. Is it that simple that you only have to re-say something that you said a couple of years ago that people should all know that, it's truth? Imagine looking at an apple and going, that's an apple, and the prices of apples dropping. Those apples are going to fall down from the tree and people go, oh, that sounds scary. Let me sell off my apples. We know that. We got it. We know that Bitcoin is speculative because every other asset is also speculative. You might not know that. Yep, it's all speculation. You speculate on the price of gold. You speculate that the US dollar will crumble and therefore people will start buying up gold. You speculate on silver. Silver is less expensive than gold, and I believe that silver should be 1/4 of the price of gold. Not sure we get that metric from, but that's a very popular thing. I'm going to speculate that real estate in London or real estate in New Hampshire or real estate in Texas is going to outperform every other asset. You are speculating on that asset. I'm speculating on the fact that the fiat currency system that we currently have right now is garbage and therefore Bitcoin could overtake it. It's all speculation. I don't understand where all this stuff comes from, why people say these things out loud. We know that gold is being sold off for Bitcoin. We've gotten that indication from multiple banks who said, according to their metrics and the other institutions who they were talking to, that they were actually doing it. Got it. We know that mathematically, as more people get into our market and Bitcoin's price continues to rise, as it is, based on supply and demand, and the supply continues to dwindle every single day, that the price is going to rise. Eventually, mathematically, we're going to get to a point where Bitcoin's value is so high that someone could sell off $1 billion worth of Bitcoin and it won't move our markets. The same exact way that you can also speculate on the value of the US dollar. It's all speculative. You can speculate on the value of the lira and the euro and the dollar and the yen at will. Sorry for the rant there, but I feel like we are... Imagine knowing that you are hungry, but instead you turn to the closest wall and keep walking into it. And after an hour, you're like, I'm still hungry, but you continue to walk into that same wall. I don't know why the world is this way. I don't know why people think this way, act this way, are this way, why there's never any real logic. Now that I think about it, I have a very strange feeling that this might have actually been the reason for the price drop. Now that I sit here and think about it, because I know that people are so irrational in so many ways. It's like years ago, whenever JP Morgan Chase or what's his face guy, Jamie Dimon came out and we're like, hey, Bitcoin's trash. The value of it would drop by like 5 or 6. And I'm like, because of what Jamie Dimon said, that made you sell off your Bitcoin? The people who print money at will, the head of the Federal Reserve said something negative about Bitcoin and that made you sell off your Bitcoin? That's what did it? Well, by golly, I think it's time for you to find a new market. I don't understand. It's a very weird, but I mean, also to be completely fair, 2018 and 2019 were very confusing years for me because we kept on getting all this news that these institutions were getting into the space and this new infrastructure was being built and the price also kept on dropping. And I even said in my videos, I was like, you should not be. Anyway, the point is, yeah, that's the Fed news, if you will. What's this one? Yeah, Fed Chair Powell doubles down on Bitcoin as digital gold. Fantastic. Wonderful. Amazing. Let's move on. Also in the news, and I mean like a lot in the news, like not even like half in the news. Supporters of XRP have started an online movement to pressure crypto exchanges to relist XRP amid Ripple facing a lawsuit from the US SEC. For those of you, I don't even have to read anymore. For those of you who were not here yesterday, what happened was that one of the lawyers from the SEC basically came forward during a lawsuit and basically announced, I think they were talking to the judge, and the judge was like, is the lawsuit also against every other cryptocurrency exchange who had XRP listed? And they were like, no, our lawsuit is only against Ripple and I guess Garlinghouse and the other guys. Well, the cryptocurrency exchanges can therefore relist XRP without any repercussions. Find the news for yourself. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find it. Immediately after, XRP's price began to rise because the news was logically, exchanges can relist XRP. And then on Twitter and many other social media platforms, everyone was like, hey, bro, relist XRP, which I also said yesterday as well. I think personally, this is just me, this is my assumption, I think that probably cryptocurrency exchanges probably knew the entire time that they didn't have to delist it, because in a situation like that, especially if XRP is making you tons of money or whatever the case might be, you contact the authorities and go, hey, do we got to delist? And they'll go, nah, bro, you got it, it's fine. But I think there's some type of personal vendetta issue situation happening between the members of Ripple and basically everybody else within the cryptocurrency not even space. It's the cryptocurrency exchanges, the people who run the actual markets. There were 35,000 tweets in the Netherlands, 30,000 tweets in the US, and 24,000 tweets about it in the Australia with the hashtag relist XRP. Sure, why not? I don't think it's going to happen. I think that cryptocurrency exchanges delisted it because they did not want it on their platform. It has nothing to do with decentralization, which is also something that really annoys me a lot as well. You need to understand crypto exchanges don't actually care about decentralization because they've added so many crappy coins and so many ERC20 tokens and Tron and TRC20 tokens and other things like that onto their platform that have no even remote level of decentralization. Zero. These things are run by one or two computers, maybe 3 or 4 devs, and they still get added onto these platforms. So don't even give me the entire decentralization thing. Same exact thing with Lumens. If you go to Stellar Lumen's website, they are also working with banks. That's the point of Lumens. It was made by the same exact person who made XRP. They also work with banks. So any other argument is completely muted. I don't even care what the actual word is. The really weird part that I saw, I don't know if you saw it, you can look at the actual charts, is that when XRP actually started pumping, and it was up by 17%, that's when Bitcoin fell. And Bitcoin fell violently down, and XRP started moving down with it because Bitcoin has that magnet. So tinfoil hat, if you will, it's not the first time that's happened. I've been here for a very long time. You have to understand. When I say things, when I tell you things, when I give you the story, when I give you a rundown, it comes from experience. This is not the first time that I have seen XRP, and I mean like spiking in price, like not like going up a little bit, like 20% up, and then Bitcoin drops, and whoever is behind the scenes who just simply does not like XRP, it could be a whale who's like, no, fudge that. That massive sell-off in Bitcoin causes the entire market to drop. It also causes XRP to have a really heavy drop as well because of the magnet. I'm going to keep calling it the magnet. I know it's not an exact magnet, but you understand what I'm saying. Anyway, so there's now a trend going on to try and get exchanges to relist XRP. I don't think so. Just me being completely honest. The exchanges don't care about decentralization. They don't care about you. They care about money. And in some sort of way, I still think, an assumption, that they have such huge stakes in Bitcoin and in Ethereum that XRP was never on their radar. They don't have a lot of XRP, and now they simply are not betting on it. That's just the way that I feel. If they do start to list XRP or relist it, the price is going to skyrocket. But I have a very strange, logically, they're probably discussing it with each other. Should we do it? Should we not do it? And they're probably all going to say no. And if they do it, reintroduce it in a certain way, they're going to probably make sure that they accumulate enough for themselves to actually ride the price right up. Or they're going to say, let's do it in a certain way that we make sure that the price doesn't actually get affected by this pump. Because if they relisted it right now, the coin would skyrocket. It would become number 3 within about a day or two. But it's the same exact thing when years ago, people were like, hey, can you list XRP because it's the number so-and-so coin? And Coinbase made sure not to add it until like a year and some change later, like after the hype for the coin had died down. So when XRP was finally listed onto their platform, that's when we got the first articles. I remember all these things. When we got the first articles talking about, is the Coinbase premium over? Because every single coin that got listed onto Coinbase flew up by 50%. When it happened to XRP, it was because they had waited for the hype to die down. So I gave it half a year or a year. If any of these exchanges relist it, I'd be shocked. Absolutely floored, if you will. Anyway, that's the XRP news. Good luck trying to get relisted because cryptocurrency exchanges are terrible. Let's move on. I think this is one of the last ones. I think. Also in news, I told you it was going to be a very weird video because the news is in every single direction. Like there's no actual clear direction to the news today for some odd reason. Coinbase has been hit with a $6.5 million penalty from the U.S. Commodities Futures Trading Commission. The charges, which the CFTC filed and settled on the same day, were for reckless, false, misleading, or inaccurate reporting, as well as wash trading on its GDAX, which is now known as Coinbase Pro. GDAX, Coinbase Pro, is aimed at more professional level traders, separate from Coinbase's spot exchange and wallet app for everyday digital traders. The CFTC's civil penalties on Coinbase apply to actions that took place between January 2015 and September 2018. A registration document Coinbase filed in February 2021 with the U.S. SEC referred to a 2017 CFTC investigation into topics including here's what they're allegedly being fined for. A 2017 Ethereum market event. What could that be? Trades made in 2017 by one of our then current employees, the listing of Bitcoin Cash, which I'm going to get into as well, and the design and operation of certain algorithmic functions related to liquidity management on our platform. You may not have been here before. I was just trying to get your attention. The only reason why Bitcoin Cash is on Coinbase or any other platform is because people threatened to sue Coinbase for not listing it. During the course of 2017, we got indications that Bitcoin, the only Bitcoin, was going to have an upgrade. There were people within the cryptocurrency space who said, no, this isn't what Bitcoin needs. Bitcoin is better, and I'm going to make a better Bitcoin. So there began to be rumors that people were creating a second Bitcoin. And that caused the market to have a really big rumble stir because we knew that there was only one Bitcoin. The entire idea was 21 million Bitcoin. You can't make any more. That's just not what's going to happen. However, other people asserted we can and we are going to. So the moment that Bitcoin Cash came to be, the cryptocurrency market and subsequently also Bitcoin fell quite hard. Why? Because there were no longer 21 million coins. There were now 42 million coins. And instead of naming this new blockchain something completely different because you are claiming that your blockchain is so much better than everyone else's, they named it Bitcoin Cash. A terrible name, but it stuck. It's why people started calling it Bcash because... So anyway... about a week or two later, people started figuring out what a fork was. We had never really had a fork, or we had other forks before, but they had never resulted in a brand new chain or a piece of the tree that should have withered away and died. It remained. It kept on growing. So people started saying, hey, I see the price of this new coin called Bitcoin Cash. I think it went from, $50 to $150 to 200 or whatever. At this point, many people had 100 Bitcoin, 45 Bitcoin, and people started saying, hey, Where's my money? Why are you not listing this new amazing Bitcoin? It's because, here's an assumption, the people from Coinbase had been into Bitcoin since around 2011. I think Coinbase started 2012. I think that's the normal story that we get. They had been around for a very long time. They knew that Bitcoin was Bitcoin and anything else was a complete fake. Same exact thing later on years ago with Ethereum. But however, a lot of people were like, you need to give me my money. And there were a whole bunch of examples online and people were calling lawyers basically saying, this is one of the most popular ones. If I have a cow and that cow gives off milk, well, therefore that milk is also my milk. If I have a cow and it has a calf, well, that calf is also my calf because it came out of the cow that I own. Tons of people online screaming at Coinbase for I think about a good 2 or 3 weeks. At some point, randomly, Coinbase was like, hey, everyone, guess what? We're adding a new coin and it's Bitcoin Cash. That's why it was added. No other reason. They were never going to add Bitcoin Cash. However, Coinbase being the largest domino, once they fell, every other cryptocurrency exchange was obligated to also list Bitcoin Cash as well. Because once you get the biggest domino to fall, you go to the other crypto exchanges and say, hey, I'm writing you a really mean letter because they did it. Why aren't you doing it? Therefore, it got listed everywhere. I assume the fine against them for listing Bitcoin Cash probably came to the fact that they probably had to ask the SEC for that. Because I assume by definition that would have made the coin a security or something in some sort of way because it was derived from some other product, Bitcoin. So I assume that's the first thing. There had been allegations of wash trading and spoof trading and other things before, which we were talking about as far as like putting in fake orders and putting in fake this and so on their platform. So the point is, they have been fined $6.5 million by the CFTC. The timing of it is also quite weird because Coinbase was getting ready to go public. I would love to be a fly on the wall during these discussions. A lot of things take place within the cryptocurrency space far too coincidentally. The lawsuit against Ripple happened on the last day of the former head of the SEC who claimed that over the last 5 years that Ripple had been doing something fraudulent. If you knew that the American people were being frauded, why would you not file the lawsuit 5 years before as opposed to your very last day? As Coinbase is getting ready to go public and it was valued at $100 billion US, more than many other companies on the stock market. How interesting that the lawsuit gets filed and they get so-and-so and they have to pay this money. So they're also postponing going public as well because of the CFTC's penalty. Kind of weird. And the even weirder is that this also happened in 2018 and 19 as well. This happened to many cryptocurrency exchanges. This happened to many different cryptocurrency price websites. And I kept on saying, I was like, something weird is happening behind the scenes where all the richest people in the world, I had assumed back then were getting into crypto. I said, but you can't do it that easily unless you knock out the competition. How do you make it so not, listen, I am not a Coinbase backer by any means. If you have not watched the other videos, please do so. I think Coinbase is one of the, I don't simply care for them that much personally. But the timing is a little odd. You would have assumed that they, if you know that someone has done something fraudulent, tell them immediately, hey, you're doing something wrong so that they don't repeat it and do it once again. So anyway, this could have been a reason why the market dropped. I'm not really sure. We got news before that when Coinbase goes public, that it could have a very positive effect on the price of Bitcoin as people will go, hey, what's that new company? They're making a lot of money. Oh, they're into Bitcoin. I want to buy some Bitcoin. And the avalanche effect or the avalanche ball rolling up effect, or you know what I'm trying to say, will take place. So I assume if a company who's worth $100 billion is getting ready to go public, that something fine against them could also have a negative effect on the... Anyway, very popular news. Oh gosh, there's so many more tabs up here. I didn't realize how long this video would be. I'm sorry. I actually am sorry. I thought I was going to breeze through all this stuff because it ties so loosely into each other. Microsoft is asking people, should they add Bitcoin for payments? That's news. Like they're actually asking people on their platform, like this is like a little survey or something like that. Like, should we add Bitcoin? Just do it. Nobody cares. No one's going to care here or there if you do or do not add Bitcoin. You're going to add Bitcoin at some point. Just add it. What's the point of asking people? They're asking people on their Xbox or something like that. What? Like, why are you asking people? It doesn't make any sense. Just add the coin. Just add it. Just add it as a payment option. Have a press conference, send out a letter, whatever you need to do, send out a fax. If you still have a fax machine, no one should have a fax machine. Say, hey, we're adding Bitcoin. Cool. Bam. Price goes up by 4%, falls back down during the day because the hype is over. You've done it. You're asking people in a, what? What year is this? What? Just add the coin. I guess listen, that also leads us directly into the last thing. Hester Pierce, the commissioner of the SEC, admits that perhaps the agency's reluctance to approve a Bitcoin ETF was a bit of a mistake now that Canada has come so far in this department. What's the point of waiting? You're sad now because someone else did it? Did you assume that the rest of the world would stop because the US SEC decided not to do something? What was the end goal here? What was the point of you not making a Bitcoin ETF? Did you, for those of you who weren't here, I'm pretty sure it was 2019. That feels like the actual year. I believe it was Norway. I want to say Norway. It was some Nordic country. Announced that they were creating a Bitcoin ETN, like an exchange traded note. What happened was, during that week, that ETN market fund exploded. I mean, it went completely insane. Why? Because a whole bunch of people from the US who wanted an ETF simply moved their money overseas. What happened at the end of that week is the SEC told US investors that ETN was off limits to them. No, you can't touch that. We didn't approve that. And I was like, of course people are, if people want to get into something, they're going to get into it. That's just how human nature works. I still firmly believe that all this time, the US SEC thought that they were doing something. Like, imagine like having somebody who like can't play basketball trying to dribble or trying to like shoot it into the basket and it just keeps missing over and over, but they think they're playing ball. Like they think that they're actually doing something. You not approving something does not stop the rest of the world from turning. I don't know how to make that any clearer. It's the same exact thing that I was saying before when it comes to the CME's Bitcoin futures market. Somebody wrote in the comment section, it was a gigantic, and I mean like huge letters, LMAO. This dude doesn't understand that they're the biggest futures market. I don't care what they are. The US does not decide what happens for the rest of the world. What don't you get about that? I can't stress that enough. So the fact of the matter is, the SEC is now coming to terms with the fact that other people are doing what they should have done years ago. Hold on. So over the many years, many companies from VanEck to Bitwise have submitted applications to get Bitcoin ETFs approved by the US SEC. I think the Winklevoss twins tried 6 times. Every single time had mud, pie, poop on their face. Not sure exactly what word you want to use. Sadly, while some of these applications have gotten further than others, the answer for all of them, it was like 17 applications, was always a large and resounding no, as the SEC hadn't been willing to take chances with crypto given the risks associated with it. You want to talk about risks? Do you know the stuff that banks do? Do you know how much fraud is committed by banks every single year? All the stuff that they get into. You know how many times? Have you ever looked at the actual manipulation of the gold and silver market? I remember back in 2014 when I was like just really getting into like the idea of like hyper investing. I constantly hearing all the time that the gold and silver market were manipulated. And I was like, that sounds absolutely crazy. And there were all these allegations against every single market leader that they were doing something wrong in the gold and silver market and that there were so many risks associated with it because you could not actually know where the price was going to go because JP Morgan allegedly was doing so much every single day. They knew mathematically how much they had to buy and how much they had to sell. And it was never in actual gold and silver. It was all in certificates. And even more so, it wasn't even physical paper. It was numbers on a screen. They knew exactly how much they had to sell every single day. Think about that. Think about knowing exactly how much you have to buy and sell to be able to manipulate a market every single day over the course of years. We still have gold ETFs. We still have gold markets. Those aren't considered risky or anything like that. Hold on. Stop it right here. SEC Commissioner admits here's the news from MSN Money. SEC Commissioner admits the agency's refusal to approve a Bitcoin ETF has dug them into a little bit of a hole. Just do it. Just approve it. Listen, Hester Pierce, everyone out there, no one cares. 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 When you approve it, it's going to make news. The US finally did it. We can't believe it. They're amazing, awesome, fantabulous. That's wonderful. A week later, no one cares. The price of Bitcoin will go up because these funds are denominated in Bitcoin. We'll know that the exact companies who have a Bitcoin ETF are going to be buying Bitcoin. No one cares. No one cares. Just do it. This has been news since around 2014, 2015 that people have been trying. Can you imagine waiting for 7 years? 7 years thinking that someone else or other countries aren't going to do what you have been asked to do? It's nonsense. And then when this does get pushed through, it's going to be like after much deliberation, we have decided that the US is ready. Oh, really? What did it? Was it Canada? Was it Norway? What was it Japan? Tell me exactly what caused you to allow this ETF to go through. What changed now? Was it Bitcoin passing $1 trillion market cap? Was that it? Okay, well, when you figure that out, please tell all of us, because the cryptocurrency market is so huge. Whatever. It's nonsense. It's such stupidity. These regulators regulate, and I think that they still believe that we are living in the 1920s. I don't mean that as a joke. The laws that we follow right now are from, was it 1923? Even if it was from the 30s. What? We have laws governing everything around us since before we had computers in the 60s and 70s. Since before we had the internet in like 1991. Since before a smartphone was even a word. Wi-Fi? Yeah, all these things that we have now. It doesn't make any sense. Just let it through. No one actually cares. Here are the articles. JP Morgan will pay record settlement to resolve spoofing case against 15 traders. This was on the 30th of September 2020. Gold price manipulation is real. JP Morgan spoofing case explained. They've been manipulating markets for I don't know how long. And crypto's the risky market? Okay, that sounds cool. 3 metal traders indicted for racketeering and other offenses for allegedly spoofing activity. CFTC files parallel civil charges. That was in 2019. U.S. fines Deutsche Bank, UBS, and HSBC over market manipulation. Where was one of the money? One of the money. It says in one of these exactly how much they were charged. I think JP Morgan was charged like $900 million or something nonsensical like that. Where is it? Where are the numbers? JP Morgan settled a $920 million fine with U.S. authorities over precious metal price manipulation last week. I hope that we eventually get to a point as a society where just logic rules. Like, logic is the forefront of everything that we do. We understand that logically X, Y, Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3 should take place because of how things are. I hope from the bottom of my heart that Canada has 3 more ETFs. I hope that Brazil has 2 more. I hope that Mexico allows 16 Bitcoin ETFs to go through, and I hope that the US still has 0. And I mean it. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. What do they think they're doing to the price of Bitcoin? Do you think that you were holding the price of Bitcoin down because we didn't have an ETF? What's going on? Fiat currencies are collapsing around us. Collapsing. Not falling, not tripping, not stumbling. Collapsing in front of us. This is also why Bitcoin's price has no reason to go down. The people who are selling off their Bitcoin are going to be angry, hopefully with themselves, in 5 years. And I mean furious. Anyway, that's all the news. I hadn't realized how many tabs that I had open, but if you wanted the news I'm not sure if Bitcoin's price is currently still falling, but if it is, now you maybe have a reason to understand why. Still slightly down, depending on how you want to look at it. I do hope that you all enjoyed. My adrenaline levels are really... I came into this video cool, calm, and collected. I hate stupidity. I hate it. It drives me insane. I hate slowness. I hate the idea that everything needs to take years for it to happen. That we need to wait as a society for 10 to 15 years for something to take place before X can actually happen. It drives me nuts. If you know that there's a problem, solve it right now. What are you waiting for? What's the point of waiting? Think of something wrong. Think of something bad happening. Imagine everything wrong in the world right now if people just took a day and solved it. I hate stupidity. It makes my blood boil. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Captain Something, and the Z-Way Lay. You know, I sat here for a minute trying to figure out what Z-Way Lay was. Can anyone tell me what Z-Way Lay is? Captain Something and the Z-Way Lay. I mean, it sounds funny. And the Z-Way Lay. Crypto Black Sheep, AJ Cut 5, Speedy 655, and Carlos was like, Mo Barazi, Jojo Shaw Show, VB Nerd 21, Miguel Grole, Lauren De Silva, Quoted Biddy, Bare Bones Mining, Troy Allgood, Space Case Need a Miracle, Crypto Stahl, Pater Noster, Conan Don't Skip Leg Day, Snacky Chan, Tolik Banan, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Stoyer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Anima Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Moher Maroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Cold E3D, Damien Setsuna, Richie Richard III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller, Hitchchest, Everyday, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monks Corner Staff, Arfmedic 17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigara Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to all the new Patreon members. I know I say it every day, but it's true every day. Thank you to the Patreon members. There's always brand new ones. I do thank you for your support. Thank you to everyone who left a like, everyone who left a comment or multiple comments, or to all the new subscribers. Thank you. At the moment, Bitcoin is currently at $54,352. It is down by 4.97%. Constant attempts at trying to raise the price, but then it ends up falling back down. If we fell back down to $50,000 at this point, I would not be surprised. There is not much logic in the cryptocurrency markets. I don't care about consolidation. I don't care about triangular patterns. I don't care about technical analysis, because we've been getting that news for years, and usually, large portion of the time, it has been wrong, incorrect. It's like the other, what was it? Remember the other technical analysis that we had about 4 weeks ago that said that Bitcoin was shooting up to 78,000? Kept on getting that news over and over, and the Bitcoin fell back down by $6,000, $7,000, and every single person who had put out that news, silent. Not much logic in the market. I wish there was. It would be nice. Ethereum is currently at 1,683. It's still at 1,683. Ethereum was like $200 last year. So, you know, why not? XRP is currently up by 11.72%. Here are the dips that I was talking about. If you look at the actual line as to when XRP has been going up for the last day and some change, give or take. It's bucking the trend of falling down, if you will. I think the actual news that they are legally able to, once again, so saith the SEC lawyer, to relist XRP is actually huge for the coin. I mean, it should have never been delisted in the first place. And if they do relist it, which I don't think they're going to do because they're terrible exchanges, the price is going to skyrocket. But we've already had that discussion. Theta is up by 12.5% because why not? Why not at this point? Luna's down by 11. Doge is down by 3.8. It's still at 5 cents. Dogecoin was half a cent before the whole Elon Musk thing. VeChain Thor is down by 8. IOTA is up by 16%. When our market has logic one day, it is going to make me quite happy. Filecoin is down by 5. Bitcoin Cash, Satoshi's Vision, is up by 12%. Aave is down by 7. Avalanche is down by 7. Solana is down by 9. Anything up? Nope. Yeah, here we go. T-Fuel is up by 41%. I do hope you all enjoyed my ranting and raving and my arms flailing in the air. I know that there are going to be people who complain about this, and I know that people tell me in the comment section that I shouldn't care about other people complaining. It does wear you down after a certain point. I make a video to 2 videos sometimes a day, and have been doing this for about 4.5, 5 years now, somewhere around that time frame. Constant negativity does get you down. I'm usually a very cheerful kind of person, but stupidity in the markets and people constantly just writing ridiculous things in the comment section, it does have an effect on you. I think things will be fine. I do not think this is the end of Bitcoin by any means, but it's more of it's the walking into the wall thing. It's the same exact thing. It's this like level of stupidity that I wish we could get past forward. Why are there so many crappy altcoins? Why are people putting their money into so many of these crappy altcoins? Why haven't people understood the news for the last year about the accumulation of Bitcoin? Why are people still fighting me in the comment section that it's not going to be Bitcoin? Why are people still writing in the comment section that everyone else who's listening to this video is an idiot because they're not buying gold and silver? Like what's the I can't figure it out, and I don't think I want to figure it out because I don't ever want to be stupid. I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening. Wherever you are, wherever you might be on this ridiculous planet, because it is. You've all watched the news. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.